Where do you want to start with everything we've seen the last 4 or 5 days here from this Leafs team?
Well, I just think it's the give a shit meter when you watch this team, and when they turn it up, they can play with anyone in the league. But when you give up, 3 goals and first period, and you're playing from behind, they aren't good enough to overcome that. And we can stop the narrative. I think we stopped it a long time ago, but you know. Auston Matthews right now isn't even a point per game player. You look at a guy like Connor McDavid, he's got 90 points. So I remember that narrative years ago where Auston Matthews is like Connor McDavid. Listen, it's not even close. It never was close. And they aren't winning a Stanley Cup with Auston Matthews as their captain. I can tell you that right now.
Hoo-hoo. Yeah, turn up the heat. I think it's time. And I hear these, people that want to say where it's gone wrong. Oh, it's too simple to say, oh, just work hard or whatever. But like, no analytics are going to come up with, oh, they don't play the right way. It's got nothing to do with that. Like, if you know anything about hockey and you watch this team, it's the big moments where you need to come together and you can see it from your couch going, holy shit, do they ever want it? They start on time. They work their ass off to get to the loose puck so that they have possession. They can enter the offensive zone. They can get the shots and work that into high scoring chances, which turn into goals, which make you win the goddamn game. They don't even start step one. And they're flat. They're emotionless. It doesn't even seem to bother them. They're laughing around, making jokes, flipping off the fucking live broadcast nationally. They take the option on taking any media requests. They get their absolute lunch fed to them on the biggest game of the year that everyone's had on their calendar since the summertime. And then they come in the next day and they say, oh, it was a lot of fun. It was a great atmosphere. Like, everything about this leadership group seems tone deaf. They don't have the stuff, and that 10-game thing where they were playing the right way, which is almost more frustrating because you know that they have the stuff if they just want to put a pair of balls on and actually play hard NHL caliber hockey. They can be a good team. They choose not to more often than not. And I think that's why they're going to get torched, and rightfully so, if you ask me.
Yeah, if you look at, like, to me, the two best teams when healthy are the Florida Panthers, obviously back-to-back champions. What's their identity? We work our fucking asses off every day. We work. We might lose some games, but you're not going to outwork us. And they might some days get outskilled, but in the end, they work their ass off. Look at the Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, they came up short last year, but look at their year this year. They work hard every game. They are talented, but their star players are the ones that drive the bus. I mean, they're the ones that drive it. And when they don't, they're pissed off at themselves. I think when you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, the identity is we're lazy. That's our identity, and we don't give a shit. And when you have leaders, and listen, I know we praise these guys when we bury them, but they're paid multi-millions of dollars to go through scrutiny. And when you don't have success in any job, you take scrutiny. I don't care if you're a financial advisor and you're losing 20% instead of 10%. You're going to get scrutiny from your clients. Well, these guys aren't putting up. This is a playoff team. It should be a playoff team, but they aren't going to be a playoff team if they continue like this. They've given up the most shots per game in the league, 27th in goals against. And if you look at that lineup, you lose a guy like Marner. This team can't compete like that when you're one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
It gets back to the point about the captain, Barney, and we talk quite a bit about Auston Matthews. Rosie talked about it, the decision not to talk to the media at all on Friday. And to me, the bigger issue was not about him not wanting to talk about the Marner noise. It was more so like you got embarrassed. Like, I want to hear from the captain. Is this at a point where you want to hear from the captain most days, every game? Because we're not getting it in Toronto right now.
You have to. That's part of the job description. I think that's when you look at like a Nick Suzuki in Montreal, the hard thing about being in tough markets in Montreal, certainly anywhere in Canada, and Toronto is the epicenter of being in the middle of it. Listen, the boys love to be in front of the camera when they're doing well. When they're scoring 3 goals in a night and putting up 5 points and they've won 8 in a row, they aren't hiding from the cameras then. It's a shit show right now. And you can go to the Berube stuff with playing Stolarz. And where are we in a world that Anthony Stolarz controls what's going to happen? That's not Dominic Hasek in the net. I mean, come on, go down, get some time, rebuild. Like you haven't been playing. You don't go and play one practice. Like we are going to come back after 2 months, have one practice, and jump back into the lineup. That just doesn't happen. So, and then you take the most important position in the game. It's just mind-boggling what is going in Toronto right now. It's just listen, when I was in Buffalo, we had a schmozzle of a team. You know, half our team didn't get along with the other half because of a feud between our general manager and our coach, Ted Nolan, John Muckler. And we had a feud within our team. The one thing we did have was the best goaltender in the world, even though I don't like him, but he was the best goalie, and I think he's the best to ever play. So we had that, and we worked our damn asses off every single game. Even though we might not have got along off the ice, listen, I was going to do anything for any of those guys. And the key component was work your ass off. We have a great goaltender and see where the chips lay at the end.
And being where they are right now and the things that you've said, they have decisions to make. I mean, this homestand was massive as far as your playoff potential. And I don't know what Vegas says, but they do not have a good chance of making the playoffs. Let's be honest. What is the play here if you're the general manager? What do you see happening with the Maple Leafs in the future?
Well, if they don't make the playoffs, I don't know who the general manager is going to be. That's first and foremost. Second of all, listen, if you lose to Colorado and you lose to Vegas, and it's a hard-fought game, they're two better teams. I understand that. Lose 3-2, lose 4-3, whatever it may be. But when you lay eggs at this point of the season, that's where it's really tough. At start of the year, we knew you lose a Mitch Marner. I think they went from the year before being like plus 700 to win the Stanley Cup. This is last year. And this year they were like plus 1,700. Everyone was saying, oh, we're not going to miss Mitch Marner. Come on. You're missing 103 points out of your lineup. McCann isn't replacing that. You don't have a guy in your lineup that's going to put up 100 points this year. And now you don't have William Nylander in the lineup, which hurts even more. I honestly think a lot of these guys are looking forward to getting the hell out of Toronto right now and getting over to Italy to play in the Olympics on this small ice and no dressing rooms and no beer in the concessions. So I think that's what they're looking forward to. I think they just want to get the hell out of here right now, and their play shows it. So this team's in tough right now. I'm not going to say it's a must win, but tonight's as close as a must win that you have in a rivalry from when I played there. We looked. Buffalo Sabres are going to be ready to play this game, and they are playing great hockey right now. They can score with anyone. So if Toronto thinks they're just going to lace it up, and this is the same old Buffalo Sabres, it is not. These young kids can score. Tage Thompson's on fire, and they're getting great goaltending right now. So it's going to be a tough out for them tonight, but this is as close to a must-win at this point of a season that I've seen for Toronto ever.
Barney, that's where I wanted to go. You obviously track the Sabres very, very closely. Can, weirdly enough, the Leafs be inspired by what the Sabres have put together? Because I think you would agree, like, they're not necessarily the most talented team in the league, but we're seeing so much chemistry with the squad right now.
Yeah, and listen, they haven't really done anything to that lineup since Kevin Adams has been gone. So kind of feel sorry for a guy like Kevin Adams that got fired on a 3-game winning streak, and now they're on a heater and never leave the table on a heater. We know that. And listen, I think you could be inspired, but we've seen Boston do this. We've seen Anaheim, rattle off 7 in a row till last night. We've seen them lose 10 in a row. It's just been that kind of year. It's been the wildest year in hockey that I can imagine in the NHL. So I don't think they're going to draw inspiration from it. But if they aren't inspired to play tonight and they lose to the Buffalo Sabres, a team that was down and out of it 2 months ago, man, you want to see that post game. I want to see these guys come out of the rabbit hole to answer those questions. They're going to get buried if they don't win tonight.
And what is it about the Sabres? I mean, they've had plenty of good players over the years that have come and gone. They cannot put it together. They've had the talent before, and it's just been abysmal. What has changed inside of that locker room recently?
You know what? I think at the start of the year, they were getting unbelievable goaltending. Like, I think Lyon had like a .923 save percentage and was like 0-5 through the first 5 games. They couldn't score. Then they couldn't get goaltending, and then they were scoring. Well, now they're getting both. Now they're getting both. And listen, I don't know why people were hammering for Lindy Ruff to get fired. Lindy's a great coach. We didn't get along for a lot of it only because I was a little immature at the time, and I love Ted Nolan, and I didn't give him a chance. But he's a hell of a hockey coach, and I think he's improved his communication. So right now they're just getting very good goaltending. They're limiting their shots against and their grade A chances against. And man, they're scoring. These young kids that they're pulling up from the minors are playing at elite level. Tage Thompson is leading this team. You look at the back end, and I love the Benson kid up front who plays hard. They're starting to find an identity of just grinding and working, and their stars are coming through. And you got Darlene on the back end that's as good as anyone on the back end running a power play. So everything's kind of clicking for them right now, and it's good to see. I'm glad for them.
Be honest, what crossed your mind when you saw that picture of Craig Berube for the first time? Have you ever had something like that where it's like you look like you got attacked by a bear? I know you've been in a couple fights in your career.
Well, it's funny. I just got back from Jamaica and I dove for a volleyball in the pool and cut myself open for 7 stitches. And then I got dizzy like 5 days later. So I ran up a $7,000 American bill at the hospital in Jamaica, but it doesn't look quite like Craig Berube's. It looks like a barbell. I mean, I feel sorry for the barbell because I fought Chief a few times and he's a tough customer, but that barbell has to be hurting. I want to hear the real story on exactly how it happened because I've been in a gym before where we're all laying on mats and working out, and I've seen a woman like walk by with a 5-pound weight and it slip out of her hand and hit a girl like right in the forehead. So didn't leave that kind of mark, but I can't wait to hear the real story.
It looks like something. I wish these players had the brass to take something like that and keep on trucking. As we know, Chief is probably the toughest guy in that locker room on any given night still. You touched on goaltending with Buffalo. These guys have been all over the place with their goaltending. And I mean, Hildeby's been one of the better ones all season long. They had that probably drop the ball with Stolarz on the weekend here. What's the future look like in these 3 goaltenders that have the potential to play for the Leafs?
Yeah, I think one is 912. I think that's Hildeby, and I think Wall's at 913 save percentage. I mean, those are above average numbers. I mean, if you look at Stolarz, I think has the worst average at like 890. So, I don't know where they go from here. I think they're just going to ride the hot hand. I think Joseph Woll, for me, would be the guy that I would rely on right now. He's the one that I have the most, with Stolarz being hurt, coming back. You don't know how long that's going to take. So Joseph Woll would be my guy, and I'm riding the hot hand as long as I can. It's screw the analytics of not playing back to back. If a guy's rolling, go with them. And confidence, Jay, confidence in this game's everything. If you're confident, anything can happen. And when you're not confident, and that's why these games become hard. Like when you're hearing the outside noise and you're struggling, and all you just hear is keep hearing negative. It's hard. It's hard to respond because now, just psychology in your mind, your own mind's starting to play tricks with you. And when you start playing well, you feel like you can't do anything wrong. And I think that's what's hard for Toronto right now is normally they'd be going into this game going, we're ready. And right now they're gripping the sticks a little tighter. And I think they're going to come out and work hard tonight, whether the end result is there. And that's the thing is when you play with fire so much, some of these games, they might play a great game and just get bad luck tonight because that happens too. And when you're working every single night, usually you get the breaks for the most part. And when it just comes and goes, like the Toronto Maple Leafs are playing, could be one of those nights where they outshoot Buffalo 40-18 and they stand on their head and lose the game.
Sounds about right. 6 points back, 30 games remaining. You got a prediction? I know you touched on it a bit. What's the one bet you like tonight?
I'm going to go with Toronto just because, listen, law of averages, Buffalo has to take a step back at some point. And maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm an idiot. I just know if I'm a Toronto
Make sure to
Maple Leaf,
check
I'm
out more of our
winning that
content
today.
right here on the Leafs Nation
ready for the
YouTube
Buffalo
page. We got
Sabres,
long form interviews,
and
we
my
got
stars have
clips,
to
we got
come out and
epic
play.
rants by Jay
I'm gonna take
Rosehill. We
the
simply
money
have
line.
it all. And
I
don't
think it's
forget,
actually straight
you can
across the
find out
board
much more at
at
theleafsnation.com.
I think
Thanks
it's
so much for watching.
110, even match.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.